So pretty much this whole idea started from an Intersect video where he says, hot take, Smite 2 feels really good right now, which at the time I'm thinking it doesn't feel great. It feels okay, right? It's passable. It's not unbearable, but it wasn't great. I don't think it was in a great spot. I think there's a lot to improve on, not only in how many gods there are, how the game feels, you know, the systems that they have in place, the system that they're going to add. I think there's just a lot more to want from the game right now. So I decided to do a test, you know. I'll play 5 games of Smite 2 just to see how it feels from coming back from not playing since Baron was released, right? Baron was the last character I played, and I played like 1 or 2 games of him because I wanted to see how Baron felt. So I played 5 games. I just played a 6th game today on Raw to see how he feels. Chef kiss whoever touched him up. He feels really good. Played him in support, and even in support he does, oh my gosh, so much damage. But besides the point, the main points of his video was a lot of gods feel better. They got a +1. Loki getting his invis, Neve getting her weaves shifted to her 2 instead of her 3, so she can be more active with her weaves and actually have a plan around them. And then also Susano, which I disagree. I think Susano felt a lot better in Smite 1 just with how his kit flowed. I think his kit flows a little bit more jankier now. But granted, I didn't play him in the past week or 2. I played him mainly during that first stage, but I'd say I have more want to play Susano from Smite 1 than Susano from Smite 2. Maybe that's just me, but I think Susano like doesn't feel any better than Smite 1. I think he actually feels worse. But that's, you know, some characters just do feel better. I think Thanatos might feel a little bit better with his 2. His 1 doesn't hit as hard as it should. I feel like what makes Thanatos is his scythe combo. But that is what it is. He also mentioned things like Titan Talks. I think Titan Talks is rather a good thing. I have been keeping up with those, even though I haven't been playing the game. I think it's very good that the developers are actually listening to the community and actually like showing that they're there for the community. So I'll say that's also good. And they also give, you know, little sneak peeks. I think recently they said Nemesis is going to be in the patch, the next patch after Raw and Sobek. So that'll be fun. Actually have some kind of AA god, see what they do with her. Be interesting to see. They said something about her shield being a lot better now. Number 2 or 3 or 4, whichever one we're on, matchmaking, he said. And maybe it's better now, but it felt the same throughout the course of the 5 games I played, or 6 games I played. It felt like some games were good, some games were just bad. Granted, I did play casuals, not ranked, because the rank queues are just way too long to actually get into. And that's assuming that you're not even playing elite. If you're playing elite, you may as well just not play the game unless you're playing at peak hours. And peak hours is only 1,000 people. So you'll probably find a game, but it'll probably take you 10 minutes. Because, right, I kid you not, it's probably 1 cycle of games going through in Elite Smite, Elite Rank. You literally have to wait for everybody in that game to finish, so then they can join up with you. And you can actually queue. Like that. That's generally how it feels. Because I think I've waited like 15 minutes just for elite queue one time, and that's just not what you want to do. So I played only casuals just because I actually wanted to get into a game. Casuals matchmaking actually happens very fast. It's like a minute. You will never wait more than 2 minutes. But I guess that comes at the cost of like the game quality, right? So they probably have like a loose MMR system in casuals, maybe, I don't know. But the games did feel all over the place. Sometimes my team would just be trash. Sometimes enemy team would just be trash. And I think I stomped one game. I went Zeus jungle and got like, I went 17-2 or something like that. And they surrendered. And that wasn't even like late game. So games just feel all over the place. I had a carry that went like 0-9. So yeah, I guess you give and you take, right? So pretty much, let's get on to the games I played. I played Herc support. The things I noticed during that game is there was a clear difference. My carry was not, let's say, on the same page as me when we went in. They were pretty piss poor, but you know, I guess it's casuals, right? It's gonna happen. So I'm not really too worried about that. I think for rank though, if I was playing rank, I would need a more competitive team, or at least on the same level. Then secondly, The 3 active item limit is really apparent when you're playing support. Any other role, it's not really that apparent, but support it really is, and it like diminishes the value. Like the value of support when they added that just went so far down, because that's like literally 3 less active items you can buy, and like sometimes there are literally just active items that you need to buy. Like you need to buy bees if there's Aries. You need to buy you needed to buy mushroom because of how broken it was. So I just wish there was more flexibility, because I think there's a lot of cool active items that just will not see play, just because you only have 3 slots for active items. That's less than half that you have for all your other items. So it just makes it naturally, inherently more competitive, right? Because bees must buy if you're going against anyone with hard CC. And then let's say you want the screaming griffin, or whatever it's called, the screeching gargoyle, the one that silences you, right? Now you only have 1 slot, and let's say you want to go for Pharaoh's curse because they have a god. Now what are you going to do? Like, let's say you wanted to play something fun like Stasis of Dominion. You can't. Anything else, you can't. You want a speed boost from the Hasten Wing? You can't. Or Stampede? You can't. So I think increasing it to like 4 or 5 would be nice. Even like, I get it, console might suffer, but like I get it. I used to play on some sticks, but like I don't feel like it would make that meaningful of a difference for console to be at a slight because you can still bind, because they were doing it before, but they said it was just too cumbersome for console. But I feel like let's not sacrifice, where most of the competitive players are going to play on PC, right? Console is usually the casual player base. Of course, there's some competitive players that like console more. I think Jengaru, he was a console, or at least not console, but controller player for a while, and then switched over like a year or 2 after. I don't know, I forgot. But pretty much he was a controller player. And sure, there's top controller players, but I think let's have a higher skill ceiling in Smite, so it draws in more of that competitive crowd that want to play rank, right? Kind of like how League has it. Their whole scene is pretty much competitive. If you're not playing rank, what are you doing? Same thing with Rainbow Six Siege. High skill ceiling, high. So people want to play it. Dota, same thing, right? Overwatch, same thing. People want to play that rank. A lot of people that play Smite are casual, so it wouldn't really affect them because they're not like. I digress. I'm just mad about the active items thing. But overall, the game felt not terrible, but I did have a few key problems just with my setup and how I play. Since my controls are not the default controls like 1, 2, 3, 4, I use caps lock, Q, E, and F for the respective ability. Right, F is ult, caps lock is my 1. I have problems like getting it to where 1 either stays at the same controls, or 2 I have to reset every single time what my how I upgrade my abilities, and I think that's just a problem. But that's only real negatives I have about game 1, and also Hurt feels pretty good. G2 game 2, I played Zeus jungle. Hear me out, I think Zeus physical is so good. You actually do an insane amount of damage. No one can box you. Maybe Fenrir can if he bites you, but if you have beads for that, you're good. Also, if you go shell early, you literally can't lose. I think shell in the jungle is actually kind of underrated. I don't think combat blink is that good anymore. But just besides the point, Zeus jungle, I DC'd really early on. I don't know why. I didn't fully DC. It didn't crash me out the game. It just sent me back to the lobby for some weird reason. So I started off with a disadvantage like that. That was a little boring, annoying. And then at the end of the game, there was 2 more DCs because I guess we were just getting our stomped in, even though we were even for the longest time. But once again, I don't know what it is with carry players. They suck. They actually suck. My carry was like 2 and like 11. I swear, bro. I can't. It's always the carry players. It's always the carry players. And if you don't, no, it was a physical Neath. I had a physical Neath in my game. Why are you going physical Neath? Dude, I don't get it. I don't get it. Her ult was literally hitting for 200. She hit someone for 200. I can't. Did have a game-saving play, but it did not matter. That game-saving play did not matter. I think I got like a 4-piece right when we were about to take our Titan. And unfortunately, let's say the team could not bounce back. I had bugs with my second ability. Anytime I would get stunned in the middle of using it, it would just go on cooldown and wouldn't give me the actual effect of it, which is weird because it's not really a, like, things like Jormungandr 2 don't get interrupted, so why is Zeus 2 getting interrupted? It's weird. So just fix that, I guess. It shouldn't be getting interrupted and me not getting any kind of benefit from it. Even the ability damage or the attack speed I wasn't getting. So fix that. It feels a little clunky, but besides that, it was okay. Just a clear team difference again. But in this one, I noticed that the items, there was one key item missing from like my attack speed build, or my auto, not attack necessarily attack speed build, more just a Hydra's build, since he can stack up so much damage on you, since he gets like what, 20% scaling if you get all your hits on them, because it's 30 per, well, I guess it's 90 actually. So you get 90 basic attack damage on someone. So I was going for a Hydra's build, and I couldn't find like a strong like attack speed plus high power stem. You could probably say death, what's that one, the dagger, the death dagger or whatever it's called, that gives you like 40 attacks or 40 physical damage or basic attack damage and like 30 attack speed. But I just wanted like a pure stat stick, so I think they need to add a few more stat sticks, like purely stat sticks, into the game, because I don't think they have any in the game right now, which I think it makes the game feel a little annoying. Because like, what if you literally just want attack speed and damage? They used to have one with the sunbeam bow, but they turned it into something else, unfortunately. Third game was Zeus Jungle. I really enjoy Zeus Jungle, if you can't tell. This one was actually a W. This was the one I stomped in. There was actually no DC for once. Everything went smooth in the early game. I didn't have any control problems. There was a few stutters, but here and there. So I don't know if it's fully optimized yet, or maybe that's just on my end, but there's like 2 or 3 stutters during the game. Besides that, everything felt good. Zeus feels good besides, you know, the 2 issue. I did notice that I do like the teleporters. Teleporters are a good change. I think they need to add more changes rapidly. Hopefully they do that during the open beta, because I know they're obviously not going to do it anymore right now because they're focusing solely on gods. But like adding more changes, like the teleporters that teleport you to lane and the teleport that teleport you to other lanes, it was a great change because it actually makes all the lanes interconnected. Before, solo and carry were the least connected roles or lanes, and mid got all the pressure. Now you can actually have a fight dual side and be like, as a solo laner, oh yeah, let me TP over, instead of having a boring TP relic, which I think was literally the boringest relic in the whole entire game. And I literally never built it in solo because it was so boring to play. Ooh, I take a little bit of damage. Let me back. Ooh, I just went all the way in your tower and I got you to half HP. Okay, let me back. And you don't have TP. Like, it's just it creates for boring play styles and very sustain heavy solo laners. Anyways, everything was good with the Zeus game. I didn't really feel any problems, except for the matchmaking. Once again, the other team was just outclassed. Like letting someone get 17 kills and what it was like 20 minutes on Zeus Jungle is not a good thing. Then next up, I played Danza. He's another new character besides Herc, and he felt fairly good. Actually, liked him a lot. I think the change for him getting a clone, it reminds me of Paragon. If you ever played Paragon, Sun Wukong had his ultimate was literally to make clones every time he hits you, or it would be like every like 2 hits he would make a clone, and pretty much he would just stack up clones all the way down. And I think that would have been cooler to see. I wish there was more clones and like a higher chance of getting a clone, and then they just nerf the damage down a little bit. It would also make him a lot better on objectives, which he can kind of struggle at sometimes since he doesn't really have an inherent stem in his kit. But I think Jungle Danza is actually kind of nice. It feels a lot better than Smite 1 Danza, even though I think he was okay in the jungle. I just think people didn't ever play him in the jungle just because they didn't feel like it. I think he was actually okay for the majority of the player base. Probably not pro level, obviously, but he has enough CC and more than enough damage and enough jungle clear, especially with the shotguns. But I went triple shotgun on him. It actually feels really peak. Like you go boomerang, you go Staff of Murden, since he also scales with int, and literally go Chronos Pendant too. You're literally getting 3 shotguns in like the span of 3 seconds. So that felt good. Besides that, no issues. I think they did a great job with Danza. So they're doing better. Like, as you can see, they're doing better and better as they go along with what they're giving out as gods. Because like if we're looking at the initial gods, Sure, there's a few good ones. Like I think Loki is a fine ad. I think Susanna's a fine ad. I think Thanatos is a fine ad. I'm just naming junglers. I think who are the mid laners? I think Cuckoo's a fine for beginner gods, but Nuwa, I guess she's popular, but are we sure it's not because of the bunny skin? I'm just saying. Is it because people like playing her, or is it because they like looking at her? I digress. Anyways, and also I think for a lot of top level players, no one likes Nuwa if you're a top level player, just because one, the ult is literally annoying to deal with. I think if you're taking in popularity, you also have to take in how annoying and frustrating are they to play against, and like actually rework the thing that is annoying and frustrating to play against. No one likes getting Nuwa ulted. So I think, and like, it's like, I don't know, it's just such a skillless ability. Literally, she's so skillless. You're in danger, ult away. Oh, you're in danger, fucking obliterate them with your clay soldiers. Her clay soldiers were one-shotting her at her launch. But that's besides the point. Anyways, just their god selection has been getting better over time compared to releasing Odin. Now they're actually releasing someone that people actually like, and Hercules. Hopefully they add Achilles. Keep your fingers crossed. But they said no one else is going to get a execute, so I would imagine they're not bringing another person with execute, even though they have the tech. But I guess maybe reset ults are hard. Aren't they doing Scylla in the first 50? I don't remember if they were. No, I think they said they weren't because her dogs are actually like really hard to build the tech out, which he uses tech a lot. Like I wondered, like, are they just saying, oh yeah, we got to build this tech, It's just a weird way of saying it. I think system would be a better way to say it, but I'm not a game developer. Anyways, Dons the Jungle was really fun. And yeah, I'd say they're doing better and better at the gods that they're releasing. Game 5 was Mordred. I wanted to play one of the just new Smite 2 gods, see what they could do. And honestly, I think Mordred is a okay example of what they can do. I think the interact button is really nice for him to have. Basically he has 5 abilities pretty much. His passive ability isn't that good, right? Obviously, but it's interrupt 1 and 2, it knocks you up, which is incredible. And can be used as pseudo mobility. Doesn't give that much, kind of like a King Arthur dashing in between his abilities for movement. You know, it's not the best, but it's not the worst, obviously. Man, I need water. Wow, okay, that's a lot better. Anyways, I played Mordred next. Obviously jungle. The game did remake itself. I don't know what happened. It was in the lobby. Either someone didn't pick or the game glitched out. I forget what happened, but the game had to be remade, and it was a fine game. There wasn't really much points to talk about. I think there was one bug I experienced with Mordred ult. I just died in his ult when I was at like 50% HP. I don't know what hit me. Maybe it was a tick damage, but it was a Bacchus that killed me. I don't think Bacchus has tick damage. I was already in the air, so he couldn't hit me. So maybe he sundered me. I don't know. But Sunder doesn't have your HP, so may still be some kind of bug there with Mordred, but that was the first time I ever experienced a bug with Mordred's ult. So if that even was a bug, maybe I just wasn't, fully paying attention to what I was getting hit by. But he feels good. He's just a good filling character. On him, there wasn't really any items I was looking for that I felt like was missing. So I think overall, there can be item gaps within people's builds, but I think overall they've done a good job including the items that they need to include. I think they just need to add a few more just for stat items, because sometimes you just want to buy the stats. You don't really care about the passive, like Jotun's Smite 1. You just care about getting the 10% cooldown or 20% cooldown most of the times with Jotun's with some flat pin. So I think add some of those items back in just for stat sticks. And then overall, I just want to say the devs have been doing a good job, and pretty much most aspects of the game. They're listening more now. They're giving constant updates with the bonus, not bonus balance, but they're what I don't even know what I'll call them, like daily patches. Pretty much always be patching is what they say. So I think that's a good thing. The release cycle of gods are significantly better. It actually makes it feel like you can actually play the game for more than 5 hours probably, because at their point it just felt like, why am I playing this game when I could play anything else? And I think once they get to like around 30 to 32 gods, then it'll really feel like, okay, I can probably play this game the whole day and not get too bored. And maybe 40 is like the whole day and not get too bored. and then obviously add a few more items. But because pretty much, like, if you think about it, Smite has had over 90 gods for most of its lifetime, right? Because season 5 or season 6 was when they added 100 gods. So for most of its lifetime, you've had over 80 characters in Smite minimum for more than half of its lifetime. So you get used to having 80 characters you can pick from. And it ended with like 113, 117. So it was some crazy number in the hundreds. In teens, I think, maybe in 120 or something like that. But you get the point. A whole bunch of gods that you've always had to pick from. And most games don't have that. Like if you look at Overwatch, it has like what, 40 gods or 40 characters to pick from. That's significantly less than Smite, and it still feels somewhat flexible in how many characters you have. You know, with some more damage, which is crazy. That over half of your characters are just in the damage roster, and that only makes up 1/3. But I guess that's basically like mages. Yeah, basically mages. Even the first god they added was a mage. Like, how are we getting stuck in the same problems that we had in Smite 1? Just mages, 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 which I guess mages make up a bigger class, but they don't really need to. Why not? Why can't assassin make up a bigger class? Why can't there be a carry assassin? Why can't there be well, I guess there are solo assassins, and mid assassin started making a actual jump onto the scene. But I think mid assassin should have always been on the scene, just because you get a lot more pressure early game and you have a lot more kill potential on them. But it is, I guess, a little bit riskier since you don't have the easiest time clearing if they're a poke mage. But I think in some matchups it was always good. But that's besides the point. I just think the gods are doing better. Anyways, the core gameplay feels good. Overall, the feel of the game has improved, actually. I don't know what it is. It doesn't feel clunky anymore. I know a lot of characters felt clunky. Remember the first time I played Fender? He just felt clunky. So I think actually it's probably worth giving Smite 2 a chance now, especially once open beta goes. I think once open beta goes, it's going to be quite literally incredible to actually play. And I imagine the player counts peaks to like 100,000 not 100. Wow, 100,000 would be crazy. That would be nice. 100,000 at launch, but it'd probably be like around 10k, maybe 15k. I think it probably get half of what Smite did in its peak. And I think Smite had like 30k. So I imagine it'll be somewhere around there, because even people that have never played Smite before might actually just try it out, since they know Smite 2 is coming out. Probably people from League of Legends are going to try it. People that play Paragon are going to try it. So I think just in general, Smite will have a holding point. I think right now is just because, one, it's not free to play and doesn't have as many gods. So a lot of people are still on Smite 1. But most of them are probably going to come over once it's free to play. And also you got to think about console. Once console gets it, they're going to get it. And console does have a problem, because if you only have a PS4, you can't play it. It's only on a PS5 and the equivalent for Xbox. I don't even know what Xbox is on right now. Is it like Scarlet Red or something? Xbox Scarlet? I don't know. It's something like that. I don't think it's Xbox One anymore. Maybe it's One X or something like that. One S. Anyways, in general, Smite 2 has been doing a lot better of a job, and I think is on the right path. Now, I wouldn't say it's in a great state. I think there are still a few things you would like to iron out before it is released to the mass public. But I think in general, it's definitely on the path to get there. So I would say literally like by this time next month, the game will be perfect. Or not perfect, but more or less closer to perfect than what it is right now. So give it a month and I'll make a follow-up one. See how it is. Bye.